Let's talk about form, right? What exactly do we mean by form? Now, before we get started, I want you to know something about HTML form. This or let me say, this is a very important aspect of HTML. More than my important aspect. So one thing about programming is that programming revolves around something, data. That's what it means. That's basically what it revolves around. And there's something we call CRUD in programming. Is it CRUD or CRUD? I don't know. Some people call it CRUD, some people call it CRUD. I call it CRUD. That's CRUD. It means create, read, update, and delete. Now that's one thing about data. Now, I'm not going to write it out. So we'll talk about CRUD. Set CURD, right? What it means is what? Create, read, update, and what? Delete. Now, what you do, what this means is that what? You either create data, you update existing data, you read existing data that has already been created, or you delete that data. Now, one reason why I'm explaining what CRUD means is that form is a very, very, very vital part of what CRUD. Now, what do I mean? With your form, you can what? Create data, right? What do I mean by you can create data? For instance, if you're trying to like sign up to what's the name? To Facebook, what do? You input your username, input your password, input your email, input your phone number, your contact details. All of those things what creating. Now, you can also go back to your profile settings. Maybe you have now created the account. You can go to your profile to view those that you've created, which is what? Read. You can go there and say, oh, I don't want to have this username again. I want to change from this username to another username. That's what? Update. And then you can go ahead and say, you want to delete your old profile. That's what? Delete. And that's basically what CRUD is. Now, CRUD, this is basic CRUD. What I just explained is basic CRUD. But one thing about CRUD is that CRUD is a very, very important aspect of programming. In fact, as a backend developer, you need to understand CRUD. Some of us are doing backend here. You need to be able to understand what CRUD is and how to even do things like this. And even as a front-end developer, it's also very much important for you to have a knowledge of what CRUD is. Now, when we talk about form is a very vital part of CRUD, at least the fundamental part of CRUD. And you need to understand how to create a form and how to make it functional. Because your form are not just for show, they're also for functionality. Now, how do we go ahead and do this? Now, one thing about your form is that your form is also a semantic tag, right? Because every single form, every single input has to go under where? This particular form tag. Now, it is not under this tag, you will now go ahead and write all your form. That's why your form is also a semantic tag, because if you talk about the form, it makes sense. Again, any tag it is you hear, and it actually makes a lot of sense in English, just know that it's most likely what? A semantic tag. All right. So now, in your form, right, you have something we know as what? Your input. Now, this input are things that you give the user to input their details in. So, for instance, if I want the user to input their phone number, I use an input. If I want them to input their name, input, email, input, any single thing, input. Now, for instance, let me just create a very basic form, and I'm going to take in an input that, let's say input, right? Now, one thing about your input is that your input takes in one particular attribute. As you can see, it is a what? Self-closing. So you need attribute. So it takes in one particular attribute, your type. Now, this type is saying, oh, what type of inputs do you want people to have? Or do you want people to input their details in? Is it going to be email? Is it going to be password? Is it going to be text? Is it going to be number or phone number? Those things are very much important. So if I have text now, right, and I save it off. So if I come right here to my browser, what am I seeing? I'm seeing an input field where I can write things because what? Text. Now, if I change it to something else, let's say I'm going to change it to like email, right? Okay, let's remove email. Let's use password. Let's use password. Now I want you to check how it's now going to be masked. So if I say, oh, trying to write something, as you can see, it is masked as a password. Now that is input. Now, as you can see, one thing is that I'm not the one generating this type myself. There are built-in types in what? In your HTML. You have text, you have time, you have URL, you have week, you have a lot of them. So if you check it out, button, date time, color, file. So I can also have file that I cannot come right here. I can input a file. So if I choose file, can you see? Click on it, and then I can decide to use a particular file. So let me look for file that I can use. So let's use this. Now, as you can see, I'm uploading that file, right? Although it's not going to do anything. If I refresh it, file is going to go. It's not going to do anything because there is no logic written to save this file, or there's no database connected to this to save this particular file. So you won't actually get anything there. But for now, just know that you can have different type inputs. Now, I'm just going to create a very basic form. This form is going to take in my name, it's going to take in my email, it's going to take in let's say phone number, and then submit button. So how do we have it? Like inside of the form, as you can see, I'm not writing it outside. I'm writing it within this particular form section. So I'm going to have see email. Oh, first one is input, right? So I can have input. Now, if I want to write my name, what type of input would that be? What type of type input would that be? Text, right? Very good. Text. So I can have text. Then if I want to have email, what type of input will that? Email, right? So I can have what? Email. So I can say, let's have it email, as you can see. If I want to have a phone number, what type of input is that going to be? Yeah? Yes. Okay, text. Huh? TEL, very good. TEL. So you can have TEL is basically what? Telephone. So you can have what? Let me just show us. I don't like to just say it out. As you can see, you have what? TEL, which is telephone. Now you can also use number, but one thing about number is that number is not going to be as accurate as your telephone. Now, if you put number, it's going to tell you, okay, you can write a random number, even if it's not up to 11 or up to a certain amount. But if you put telephone, right, I can say tell. If I save it up, you can see. Yeah, of course, it's not going to show anything yet. Let me write my submit button. So I'm going to have a button. So we can have button. Or for now, let us use input or what? Button, type of button. So the value is going to be what? Submit. Now this value is saying what should appear on that particular button. So that's what? Submit. So if you check it out now, you should have submit. Do you get it now? That's also input. Now, if I go ahead and submit, what's going to work? Let me just write something out. Let me say Paul. Let me just write anything, and then write anything here too. Now, note something. Submit. I'm going to change this to a button rather than an input. And I'm going to say submit. Good. Now let's try it out. So if I write Paul, then I write anything here. Then also I'm going to write anything here. Then I'm going to click on submit. Note what's going to happen. What is it saying? Please include an @ in the email address, because out of every email address you have at something. So if I say @email.com, note another error. Okay, this is never supposed to work because it's supposed to be a number or a telephone. Let us check it. Is it text we use there or tell? Tell, it's supposed to work. Okay, that's fine. Now let us have something here, but let us leave that for now. One thing you note here is that you have all of these data, right? But how will your user know that this is for name, this is for email, and this is for what? Telephone? How will they know? As you can see, I just went ahead to write something here now, and I did not know it. Let's say I am the user, I did not know that it's for telephone. Submit. How will they know exactly? You want to try? You want to try? Go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Like, okay, if we add it, how will we even add it? That's the problem. Very, very nice one. But it's not exactly value. Because value is saying that you are, let me show you something. So if I say value here, all right, and I say enter name, right? To make users know that it is a name. Note what's going to happen. You are saying enter name, right? But this is a problem because what you've just done now is that what you've given that user's what's the name, data, a value already, and it's actually that value they are supposed to get to what have that. So for instance, if I want to store user details now, your name or your phone number, it's the value you input here that I take to my database to store. But what I've not done in my HTML, I'm now automatically giving it a value. So even if user puts Paul, what's going to be stored? That entire name that I put there. So it is not advisable to use value as your placeholder text. What you use as a placeholder text was your placeholder itself, placeholder attribute. Now, if I say enter name, right? Now, look at it. It is now going to be what? As you can see, it's not as thick as the other one. It's not showing that this is a major data. I can put this here now, and I can write for right. As you can see, this is now what the best is now giving me a placeholder, telling me, okay, this is what I want you to do here, right? And it's going to go ahead and want to do it. Similarly, I can have my placeholder again for the email, right? I can say placeholder, right? I can say enter email, right? Similarly, for my telephone, I can have placeholder, enter phone number. So check it out now. You should have all of these things. Enter email, enter phone number. Now, I can know that this is what for Levites, for my name. This is my email. So I can say Paul, right? Then phone number, just write random text plus, I say 234-888-999-222. I don't know. So submit. So as you can see, automatically submitted. Now that's one thing about what the phone number and your email and your name attributes. So now, one thing is that in my phone number, I can also set it that, oh, I want the minimum number to be what? Yeah? Yeah, so you must write up to 11 numbers. Minimum and max number should be what? 11. So I can say what? Max should be what? 11. Minimum should be also what? 11. Okay, not max, minimum. Let's try it. Yeah, max and minimum should be 11. So if I just go ahead and write all, then this, and just write 1 submit. That's a problem. Oh. I think that's let me have minimum first. So let me have maximum. No maximum. Let's have mean length, exactly. Mean length, not listen. Let's have 1 and submit. Now, as you can see, what's it saying? Please lengthen this text to 11 characters or more. You are currently using what? 2 characters, right? So I'm going to change something. I'm going to add max length also to be what? 11, so that it cannot be what? Less than or what? More than 11. So good. So I'm going to write 11, submit. As you can see, then let us count it. Let's try and write something about 11 and see if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let us check it out. Submit. It works. Let us check out 12. It's going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. As you can see, I'm trying to press the 12. See, it's not even writing. It's not working. Now, that's one thing about what your numbers. Full numbers. Do you get it now? So that's exactly how your what max length and your main length works. So now max length is not going to go beyond 11. Main length is not going to go below 11. So like that, Nigeria, you can just write your what Nigeria phone number and it automatically works. Now that is one thing about what your placeholder and your max length and main length. Now these are just attributes that you should just put in mind that you will need them a lot of times. Yeah, so that's it. Now there are other type of input text in HTML. So you have let me just go ahead and write some. So you can have input of number. So you can have, I think I've given us file before, right? Good. You can have file. You can also have input of number. Let me even do something with this file. Trying to think of one way or another to do it. Okay. Let us have input of number. right? Then we can also have so this simple one, I can say placeholder, enter age, right? That's number. We should have, sorry, please can you just let me close it? Thank you very much. So we can have inputs of, let's checkbox, very good. Then input of radio button, very, very good. So this is, there's a question coming out from this. So let us check it out. Very, very good. Now, if I go ahead and say, oh, age, let me write 30, phone number, this, enter email, then I'm just going to use this. Okay, good. Submit. Now, good. So let us say submit. Now, there's one thing that I want you to know. This is a checkbox. This is a radio button. If I click on it, it is checking. If I also click on it, it is checking, right? Now, what are the differences between these two things? Checkbox and radio button. Checkbox and radio button. What's the difference? Don't come and join our class. Come and join our class like that.
I think checkbox is like an approval that all the things that you did are correct.
No, exactly. No, exactly.
Maybe
then very, very good. That's it. So I of course, I'm not expecting anybody to know this, because when we talk about checkbox, they're not saying, oh, I can pick more than one. You can also pick one. You can pick one. A lot of us probably use Google Forms a lot of times. So if you see Google Forms, you see that, okay, you see things like this. Most of the time, mostly blue, right? Now, you see things like this, you see things like this. You be like, okay, you can pick more when you see things like this, but you can only pick one when you see icons like this. That's what your checkbox and a radio button. Now, this is checkbox, this is radio button. That's what it is. Now, why am I showing you this? It is also a form input that you can decide to want to use data to get user data. Oh, checkbox, put the details in front of it. Oh, radio button, put the details in front of it. Now, these are very much important aspect of what? Of form. You get it? Is it clear to everybody? Any question? Okay. So now, one more attribute that I would like to show us. For instance, what if I just come right here and I click on submit? What's happening? What do you notice? Look at this place. So it's automatically submitting, right? That means users can just come on my website now and be like, oh, there's a form here, submit, empty data, and it's going to come to my database. That's a problem for me, because someone I'm like, I'm getting, for instance, you are getting, they're trying to create a particular website that involves payment. Now, on that payment, you're able to track that person very well, so that someone doesn't probably like just run a fake payment, or someone doesn't pay with a fraudulent card, right? Or just do something malicious. What you need to do is that you need to make sure that you get details. That's why you go to international payments, some website that has international payment systems. So there you can see they will get your billing address, right? They will get your billing address, they will get your name, they will get your email. What again, sir? Number, phone number, right? Those are the things that they will get. They will get your card details also. Do you understand? Billing address and everything. Now, one thing is that if you now probably create something now and you do not put those things to be mandatory for them to, for your users to input, what happens? Users can submit empty details and then still pay for what they want to pay for, right? And that's a problem for you. So sometimes you might probably auditors probably want to check your book and see payments that you've received. Now you're not seeing payments from unknown user. That's a problem for you. They'll think you're laundering money. That's money laundering. Do you get it now? Now that's a problem. That's why it's very much important for you to like go ahead and input required fields, so that if a user clicks on submit, if they won't be able to submit that particular field without inputting some details. So for instance, I want to make the name required. I want to make the name, the email required, phone number also required, and age required. Now, how will I do it? All I have to do is what? Use the required attribute. So I can come to the name, please. I can say required, save. Then come right here, I can say required also. Then in my telephone, I can also do the same thing, required. Then right here in my phone number, I can also do the same thing. I can say required, right? Now if I save it up and then go right here, and if I click on submit, it's going to tell me, please fill out this field. Now if I fill it out, all, submit again, please fill out this field. Then same thing again, fill it out, please fill out this field until I what? Forgotten this thing. Okay, so good, 11 numbers. So as you can see, I can now submit. I should not be able to submit that. All. Okay. Okay, submitting. Did I not have? Oh, read only. Supposed to be required, not read only. I was looking at it, I wasn't supposed to submit. So let's try it again. So let's say Paul. Then we'll have this. Then let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to submit. Now, as you can see, fill out this field. So if I put 30 again, submit, what do you have? Automatically submit. Now, that is one thing about your work. You're required. It allows you to submit that particular thing. Make sure that thing is what? Filled up. So far, we've talked about quite a number of things on that forms. We've talked about your input, right? We've talked about type, right? The type. And some of the types that we talked about text, we talked about email, telephone, radio. We also talked about one more, submit, right? Even though we did not finish that one. There's one more thing that we talked about. I'm trying to remember. File. We talked about file, right? Then we now talked about placeholder, right? Placeholder. We talked about required. What again did we talk about? I think those two, right? So these are the two things that we've talked about so far. Now there's one thing that I want to do. I want to like just show us one quick thing on that file. Now, you've probably seen something like this before, whereby you have input of file. This is exactly what I'm saying. See something like this before, right? So if you go right here now, what do you have? Choose file. I'm just going to break it down so that you have on a new line. So as you can see, you have what? Choose file. Now, I feel like this is not, I don't like this. It's looking too old. All these olden days way of writing this. What I want to say is I want to use an image, and I want to say upload. I want to use a text that says upload profile picture. Now, how do I do this? Now, for me to do this, what I have to do is what I need to put in. I can use my ID. I can put in this ID. I can say, okay, let's use a name. Let's put the name here. Let's say profile picture. I'm going to put the same thing in the ID here as what profile picture. Now, I want to automatically remove this choose file. I want to remove it and change it to what? Upload profile picture or use an image there. Now, how exactly am I going to do this? I can have a label. Now, label is also what? A tag. Now, it's also a form tag. Now, this label, I cannot put what? Profile picture right here. Now, these 4 attributes trying to tell me, okay, which particular ID are you exactly going to be using? You understand? So because I put this idea of profile picture, I can use what forward profile picture here. I can say upload profile picture. Now, if you check it out, what I'm going to be seeing here is what upload profile picture. Now, if I click on this now, I should be able to what, upload profile picture. Now, there's one thing that I'm going to do, which is going to be very funny. I'm just going to what hide it. So I'm going to say hidden. Hide the file. Now, as you can see upload profile picture. Right? If I click on it, what happens? I can still upload profile picture without seeing that thing that is there. Now, I can change it from just upload profile picture to what? Using an image. So I'm just going to add an image to this. Let me remove this. And I'm going to say img, then images / let's use this. Then under it, just beneath it, I'm going to use a span tag, or let me just say upload profile picture. Good. Now, if you check it out now, good. As you can see it, if I try to like click on it, upload profile picture. Now, that is one way you can, just restructure some of these things. I'm going to do it again so you can see what I'm trying to say. So let me remove this label and do this thing again. Now, you have an input, right? And in the input, what you want to add is a file. And that file is basically pictures or any file at all, right? Now, what I now want to do is I will give this place an ID of profile picture, or let's say uploads, right? Now, what I want to do is that I don't want to be seeing choose file or no file chosen. I feel like it is too olden, like olden days. Doesn't make any sense. I don't like it. So what I'm not going to do is that I'm not going to have a label. Now, this label is going to be, it's just like a label for a particular input field, right? I can also have labels for what? For this one. So I can say labels for tech name. Sorry, I say tech name. Text and my full name. I can say label, right? That's bad. Label. Good. Now, then I can say for, let's say, full name. Now, one thing is that my for attribute has to match the ID that's here. Full name. You understand it now? That's it. Now, automatically, it's not going to recognize this as what's the label for this particular. Now, in case I don't want to use placeholder, I can go ahead and use label. You understand it now? In case I don't want to use placeholder, I can go ahead and use label. So if you check it out now, full name, email, phone number, that's what label is. Now, but in this case of image, I don't just want it to be just normal label like this. I want it to be that I can click on the label, and then what? The file that I want to upload will come out from that label. So now, in this particular label, I can say forward. Now, what will be in this for? What's going to be in this for attribute here? Upload, right? Good. Upload. Because that is what? The profile picture ID name here. So I can not say upload documents. I can say upload profile picture. Now, if you check it out, now you should see what upload profile picture and choose file. I can click on choose file, it works. You can also click on what upload profile picture. It's still going to work. Now, but I don't want to see choose file. I don't want to see no file choosing. I can just use a particular attribute known as what hidden to hide the file. Now, hidden is not going to what go ahead and what hide that particular file. So if you check it out now, I should be able to see hidden there. Do we understand it? So let me try and do the same thing here again. So if you check it out, I should have what it is. So say, click on it, have this, and I can upload any image or any profile picture that I want, and automatically get uploaded. Now let's try. Let's see if it works. Because I'm just opening it up. Let's actually see. As you can see, of course, we do not have the necessary logic to save this in the backend, but it automatically what uploaded. So that is that about form. Do we understand this? Very easy now. So if you have classwork now, I run it. Question. Yeah. Yes. Now, one thing about your input is also what? An inline element. So elements will be positioned side by side, right? So because of that, what we're not going to do is that we're going to have to break it. So breaking is what your BR. Now, there's something called formatting. I want everybody, okay, I'm saying this now, I can remember, everybody should go and read on formatting. And one thing about this class is that you are going to read a lot. I'm going to teach a lot, but I'm also going to read a lot on a lot of things. Read on HTML formatting. Now, when we talk about formatting, formatting is just used in adding additional styling. Not exactly styling, just a little bit of styling to your HTML file. So for instance, I want this particular text to have a slant style. That's formatting. I want it to maybe I want to write 2 raised to power 10. That's formatting. I want to have breaking of elements. That's what formatting. So I can go ahead and break each of these elements. So I can say, oh, BR. So next element now comes to the next line. Email comes to the next line, as you can see. You can do the same thing for phone number. Just in front of email, break it down. Just in front of phone number, can have a BR tag again that breaks it down. The same thing here, just in front of ahead, can have a BR tag, and then BR. Same thing in front of gender, BR. Okay, I want to even bring this up a little bit for X. Okay, good. So now we are gonna have BR again. So now if we check it out, what do we have? We have full name, good. Now look at it. So we have full name, email, phone number, age, subscribe, gender, mail, and upload picture. So now I can now go ahead and submit it. So I can say Paul, then I can have email paul@gmail.com. Then phone number can have age 30. We can have subscribe. We can have mail, upload profile picture. Then I can upload any picture that I say I want. So I'm going to put this. Then I can click on submit. Automatically, these things get uploaded. Now that is one thing about what the form. And do you understand this? Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear? All right, very, very good. So I want to go into something as well. I think I need to test our knowledge, first of all. I need to know if we are following or we think we are following, because that's how programming is. We think you are following until you see project. So what I want to do is that I just want everybody to go ahead and do this particular class that I'm about to give. So I'm going to open up our, let's go to Gamma. And do not forget that if you're a student, you're going to have access to all our recordings. Apart from all our recordings, you're going to have access to quizzes. You're going to have access to all of these materials, right? So you have access to every single thing. So if you have been, how many of us have access to our portal now? Be able to log in to see our portal. So if you can see it, you have access to all of these materials. You can read it, and you can have, what's the name? You can revise on everything that we've done, and even take our projects and assignments. So it's already assignment for week 1, which I already wrote on the portal. So come in, try and check it. Yeah. So this is the assignment for week 1. Basically, what I want you to do is, okay, no, don't worry. You do it. You do the assignment in class. This is the assignment. So what I want you to do is that what I want you to build your first personal page, profile page. Now, what would that page have? Page is gonna have your name. I've given this thing already. Expo is there. You have your name, It's going to have a short bio about you. It's going to have an image of you and links to your social profile. Now, since you're not on GitHub yet, a lot of us are not gotten to GitHub yet. Can use links to any of your profile, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, as long as it link to your profile. Now, what do I want you to do exactly? What I want you to do is that image, you're also going to have, oh, hello, welcome to my website. My name is this. Then there's going to be an image displayed there. Then you're not going to have a short bio, can be under the image or before the image, depending on how you want to structure it. Then there's going to be a link to your what's the name? So now, this is what I want. Every single section should have an header. Now, what do I mean by a header? For instance, or an heading rather. So if I'm saying your name, you can put introduction, right? After putting the introduction, you now write your name. Now, mind you, on Wednesday, we're going to have a much bigger HTML project. This is just like introduction. But you have introduction, your name in bold letters, Paul Ifeoluwa. Then you're not going to have, in that introduction, you have your picture there. In the next section, what are you going to have? You're going to have about me. The about me is not going to be like a short bio of yourself, your interest, background, and what you are learning currently. Do you understand? Now, the third one is now this image can be anyone. You can add image to your name and then short bio. Don't add image to one of them, depending on, as long as there's an image there. Do you understand it now? Then your links should not be like the last section. You now have my profiles. So what am I saying? So this is what I'm trying to say. So the first thing is what? First section should be introduction, right? Second section should be what? About me. Third section should be what? My profiles. Do you get it now? Now these are the three sections that you're gonna have. Now in your introduction, you can decide to add your name and maybe include your picture. The same thing with your about, the same thing. So you can have about you and maybe pictures also. But one thing is that there has to be pictures in one of them or both of them. Do you understand it? And then your profiles, same thing. So now that is one thing I want to do. So you have about 15 minutes to do this. It's not yes. Sir? Yes, create another folder for it. Create a folder, name that folder first project or first class work, something like that. Yeah. And do this. And everybody's going to display. Everybody